single game for the rest of the year. It wouldn't matter because we, as the LeBron James hater, we went in there in his homecoming and we just, ruined the party. So that made me happy. But
they're trying to make your wishes
I didn't
come true.
actually really mean that you should lose every other game the rest of the year.
Listen, so Statman, it happens to the best. No, it doesn't happen to the best. I'm sorry. It happens to the Knicks on numerous occasions. I mean, you got, 6, 7 losses in a row now? You guys are fighting with the Lakers, and
they took my comments literally. On the show, I went and said that the Knicks, would beat Cleveland because they got to give me something. Being a longtime New York Knicks fan, all the heartache and stuff. Give me that one happy moment to rain all over the parade that is LeBron James and his homecoming. And I said they could lose every other game. And that's exactly what they're
definitely trying to prove you right, Statman, that they can do that. I don't know if it's the triangle. I don't know if it's Fisher, if it's Phil. The Zen Master. He got to, get control of this situation. I mean, Melo is underperforming. J.R. Smith trying to take half-court threes to win games. I don't know what he's doing out there.
Well, there was 3.8 seconds left on the clock, and Carmelo Anthony's calling for the ball. Of course he's calling for the ball. He always calls for the ball. J.R. Smith, he had a good look. He had a little bit of room, and if you're out there on the court and you're like when I'm playing and somebody's like, no, pass it to me in the middle of my shot, it kind of throws things off a little bit. This 3.8 seconds, did he really have enough time to pass it to Melo, for Melo to turn around, get a good look, and make the shot? Maybe, and then we go to overtime. But it shouldn't even come down to that. It shouldn't have been that close. This is the Orlando Magic here.
I mean, they don't even have Oladipo right now, right? I think he's out for a month or two. So, who's on the Orlando Magic? Because I know Jameer Nelson's not there anymore. So he's not there. I'm just trying to think in my mind. I think they got Vucevic is there. He's pretty good, and I think as far as the names go, I think that's. Oh no, they got the young kid Evan Fournier, who actually had a career high 28 points last night. So he's pretty good, I guess. He's better than everybody on the Knicks, or at least that game he was.
Yeah, well,
but it's all good.
What happened here? We were a second place team. We had Melo with the scoring title, J.R. Smith 6th Man of the Year, and then next thing you know, we lost Copeland and Novak, and next thing you know, we don't even make the playoffs. Was Copeland and Novak really that important to the team? Now this year, yes, we lost Tyson Chandler as well, and and it's just I don't get it. I understand the triangle is a system that the Knicks need to learn, and it's going to take time. I did say before the season even started, I won't expect them to get it until December, but you don't have to get the triangle to beat the Orlando Magic. I don't, for it to even have been that close.
I mean, you would think that, Carmelo Anthony, who's should be a top 5 player in the league, he could beat the Orlando Magic single-handedly, but it's the Knicks. I think they're just a team that is destined to fail, and it's just going to get worse. But on the bright side, they did re-sign Carmelo Anthony. They do have the Zen Master, like you said they would. So from that standpoint, I guess they're doing well, because you can't judge the Knicks by success and the success that other teams have. You have to judge the Knicks based off of the Knicks, and since the Knicks lose so much, this is actually good for them.
Shots fired.
This is actually a good thing. This is a positive. You have to look at the positive stat, man. You can't go by, what's been going on. You just look at the positives, man. And then when you think about the Knicks, just, in your mind, know they're just not going to be well.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I'm wearing the Rangers today, and the Rangers have been disappointing as well, but they they beat a team like Pittsburgh.
They've been to the dance, at least, and they actually, have a championship, since we've been born. They, I mean, it's still 94, but hey, I'll take that. I'll take 94 over 73 any day of the week, So I'm all for the Rangers. The Knicks, on the other hand, I mean, I don't wish them bad. I want them to do well, because I'm starting to feel bad for you now, Statman, and fans like you that just continue. Was it 44 years, I think it's now, that you just keep with the disappointment? So I don't want you, to be down All right, that's what I'm saying. But let's move on. We can't.
I think
let's-
you do. I think you enjoy it a
let's-
little bit too much.
Let's just listen. I always tell you I want the Knicks to make it to the playoffs so that they can lose in the playoffs. That's when I want them to lose. It's just sad at this point.
It definitely is. There's no argument there that it is sad. But in other news, Kobe breaks another record. Trip Young, I know you're a little bit of a Kobe hater. You want to get into that?
Yes. Okay. Now this is what I love about Kobe Bryant. I mean, he's a Chuck. I mean, we know he's at the point in his career where he doesn't play defense, but he has the record now for most missed field goals. He just passed John Havlicek, and he has the record. So that's a record, Kobe. I'm proud that you got him. Happy for you. Everyone knows you're a Chuck. I mean, the field goal percentage just gets worse. It gets worse every season. At
That's
this point
the
in
thing
his
I don't
career.
understand. Like Kobe's a Chuck, and everyone barks on Melo for being a Chuck. And
Melo doesn't have the record yet, though.
but that's
Kobe
the
has
thing.
the record.
That's what I don't understand as a Knicks
Well,
fan.
Kobe also
that
has 5
we
championship
don't have.
rings, though. He also has 5 championship
That's what I'm
rings.
trying to understand. How does he get those rings while being a Chuck, but
He
we
also
can't get the rings with Melo being
Well,
a Chuck?
he has Shaquille O'Neal, for a lot of those rings.
And
He
then
actually
Pau
had
Gasol, but
a good team. So, you have to really understand the difference between Kobe Bryant and Carmelo Anthony in this situation. 5 championship rings to no championship rings, MVP awards, scoring titles. That's 2 different classes. Plus, he had the most dominant man in the NBA at the time, Shaquille O'Neal, to start that situation off. So, it is what it is.
all right. Well, in other basketball news, a little bit of the off the court happenings. Blake Griffin gets a misdemeanor for not being able to control himself, and apparently hitting somebody at a nightclub. What's your thoughts on that, Trip?
Blake just is not that kind of guy. He's really not that kind of guy where he's gonna get into these issues in the club. This is like completely out of his character. So I'm gonna give Blake the benefit of the doubt on this one. I know how pesky the paparazzi can be, because there's times, Statman, where you and I will be out in public, and the fans and the paparazzi will just rush us with their cameras. So I kind of understand.
It
where
does
he's
get a
coming
little
from with that.
annoying.
Yeah.
I do get
So
that.
when you in that scene,
But I
you
love the
kinda know
fans,
what it
though. I
is.
take pictures with them. Everything's all
I mean,
copacetic.
Statman, sometimes there be those days where you don't have your coffee and you're just angry, and
Or
then
in Blake's case, probably a little bit too much of something stronger than coffee.
but
since he's at a nightclub. But
yeah, and maybe he had Hennessy shot too many and he got a little overzealous. But I'm not gonna hold it against him because I love his commercials, man. I think Blake has some of the best commercials out there.
Oh,
But
he definitely does.
He's no Blake. He's never in trouble. We never hear anything like this about Blake Griffin. So I think it was just one of those moments. I'm gonna let it rock. Now, if it continues to happen, then I might think differently. But for right now, that's not Blake.
Yeah, I think after one incident, I don't think Blake Griffin's the type of person. He'll be a little bit more. He'll have a little bit more self-control,
Yeah.
and because it happened already, and he obviously can't make a habit out of it or anything. So, yeah, I don't see it happening again. And when you think of Blake Griffin, you think of the commercials. You think of him, dunking over the car in the slam dunk contest. You don't really think of him as the great player that he is. That
I mean,
he's
he gets pushed
excelled
around
to.
on the court, so I definitely
He's-
don't see him, in
Yeah.
real life.
I mean, he did excel a lot since coming into his rookie year, since the slam dunk contest. He's evolved a lot as a player, and I see him in the future within 5 years being a top 5 guy. I would consider him in the top 15 at least.
Yeah, definitely.
Now,
'Cause
but
he's going to continue to get better, and he has the help of Chris Paul, who just makes everyone around him better. So you combine those 2 things, and he's still very young. He's I mean, I would go Kevin Love as the better power forward of the 2. But if you said Blake Griffin, I'm not going to argue that. I'll give you that one if you want to say it's Blake Griffin who's the best power forward in the league.
No, I
right
mean,
now.
I wouldn't even go that far, but I think, I always was a fan of Kevin Love being the guy, even when they were both rookies.
Yeah.
Kevin Love didn't get as much attention as Blake Griffin did because of the dunk contest, because of the commercials, and Kevin Love was the better player. Now he's a little bit more in the spotlight, playing alongside LeBron James, who is a little bit depressed, getting the 30s blues or something, because in the past couple of weeks he's talking about how he can't jump as high, and but he's out there, contribute. He seems a little bit depressed. He seemed a little not motivated. And, what I tell my friends when they turn 30, because I'm 33 now, and I tell my friends when they're 30, which kind of cheers them up a little bit, you're not too old to date the hot 21-year-old, and you're not too young to date the hot 21-year-old's mother. So, I mean, that usually cheers my friends up when they get
Words
the 30s
of
blues.
advice from the stat man, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, it's true. I mean, take it from somebody that's dated girls in their 40s and girls in their 20s after I hit 30. So it's definitely a true statement. In his case, I think he's a little bit sad because he probably can't figure out why I hate on him so much. And he's like, Statman is so cool. I want him to like me and not hate on me. Why does he hate on me so much? I'm starting to get a little soft spot and feel bad for you, LeBron, getting all depressed and not motivated.
This is why he hasn't been on the show yet. I just want you to know that, Statman. This is exactly why. Because every time he's like, I'm going to forgive the Statman, you come back with more hateration. And he's like, you know what, Trip, I just can't. I can't be around the Statman right now.
No, I do understand that, but I mean, we're not ESPN, and it's not the LeBron James show. We do not talk about LeBron James all the time. We don't reference him in football. We don't. We might. We'll reference him.
Today
We'll reference him in football, but we don't. As the stat man, I don't make up random stats like most games with 20+ points, 7+ rebounds, and 6+ assists. That's not even a triple-double, but they just pretty much come up with stats.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do,
most points on a Tuesday 7:30 game, is LeBron James.
Yo, man, you gotta love it. That's that. I mean, listen, ranked number one, in the rankings for 4 years now. I mean, he is a very talented basketball player.
I'll never go and say that LeBron James is not the best player in the world, because he is. I just don't like the comparisons to Jordan.
If LeBron James came to the Knicks, how you would be if he actually played for the Knicks.
I don't like Carmelo Anthony, and he's a New York Knick.
Because Carmelo Anthony is no threat to actually win the championship. But if LeBron came here,
I wouldn't like him, but I would want him to make shots. I'd want us to win. There's no question about that.
You might break the 40.
I'm not buying a LeBron James jersey if he comes to New York. I didn't buy a Carmelo Anthony jersey. I bought a Stoudemire jersey.
Would you get it then?
Say it again?
If he comes to the Knicks and wins the championship for the Knicks, would you get a LeBron jersey?
No, I would get a New York Knicks jersey of another member of the team.
And he was the Finals MVP. He averaged 30 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists in the NBA Finals. Got the Finals MVP, regular season MVP, and did it 3 times in a row.
I wouldn't even say thank you to him. I mean, I would just.
See,
I'd be happy that they won the championship, but
see, fans are not grateful. If LeBron James came here and got you around, you couldn't even get that man's jersey and support him a little bit.
Why would I get that?
You know what? It's all good, man. It is all.
I don't just buy the best player on the team's jersey. I buy the player that I liked. I like Stoudemire, and I bought his jersey. He's the reason why Carmelo Anthony even considered coming to the Knicks. He's the reason why they became a playoff team after them signing him, and then Melo came in and kind of ruined things because he could have waited till the following season when he's a free agent, and the Knicks wouldn't have to give up anything, but he wanted $3 million more, because the collective bargaining agreement wanted to make that, get his money before the CBA. And then now he takes a little bit less money this year, which he could have done in the first place, and us, maybe have a chance, a better chance at a title, not having to give up everybody. And even if we wouldn't keep Gallinari, obviously. Maybe we would have, but you could trade him for other pieces. You could trade him for draft picks. You could do other things instead of having to give up all those pieces to get Melo when we could have gotten him for nothing. So that's why I hate him. For those of you that basically aren't familiar with why I hate Carmelo Anthony, and it goes back quite a few years. But
the hate that you have within you is just coming out on this episode. I know today. Of the show,
I wish it was the radio show so I could have the soundtrack with the hate.
We need to do that, man, because you going in. I mean, I'm not mad at you, Stat, man. You got to get this off your chest. Your teams have been losing. LeBron's been winning, so
if I was in the nightclub right now, I might hit somebody. I might pull a Blake Griffin.
It didn't happen.
It seems like there's a lot of anger in me today. I don't know.
Exactly. It's all good, though, man. We're gonna make it through another week. We're going to jump over to a little bit of football then. You're going to clear your mind, Stat, man. We're going to come back to that. We're going to go to football. It is Thursday night football. right now. Dolphins and Bills come on tonight, but there's been a whole lot going on in the NFL. A couple of injuries. My man Patrick Willis and Carson Palmer both done for the season. How does that affect their teams?
Well, Palm. I mean, the Cardinals were good without him, so I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
The Niners, they've been struggling. Well, they get Alden Smith back now off of the suspension, but they're just in a tough division, and
Too late now for the 49ers?
any additional hits that they're going to take are going to hurt, and they're taking another one. So I mean, having Smith back, I mean, it's still midway through the season. The 49ers are a very talented team, and their defense is still pretty good despite how they've been playing this year. I wouldn't count them out, but they are in a tough division. You could see two wild cards come out of the same division with the Seahawks and the 49ers. I'm not going to say that's impossible, but at the same time, the Lions and Packers might be one of those second wild card spots. The Giants, on the other hand, even if they win,
the Cowgirls and the Eagles too.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so.
And the Giants, if they win every single game for the rest of the season, that might not even get them a wild card at 9-7. And that's if they win every game the rest of the season. Hopefully, they're going to be playing the 49ers this week. Hope to get a victory, even though it's probably done at this point.
Though, so that actually should be a boost for the Giants. I'm going to go to this fan mail question because it's actually in regards to that. Bryce from the Bronx, right? So you guys think realistically that the Giants still have a shot at the playoffs? Statman, you kind of touched on that.
Yeah, I mean, you win every game for the rest of the season, you might get the second wild card because that would give them a possible tiebreaker with beating Philly and the Cowgirls, depending on their division records, because the first tiebreaker would be division records, and they have 3 division games left. They only won 1 now against the Redskins. They lost against the Cowgirls and the Eagles. So it's realistically no. I mean, come on. To win every game for the rest of the season.
I don't want to just be a biased Giants fan right now and just say I'm going to keep the hope alive.
I'm going to try, but I mean, it's not a situation where that's even enough. It's not even like, all right, we win every game and we're in.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not in. We might not be in if we win every game.
Depend on somebody else losing as well. So, oh man, Bryce, shout out to the Bronx. But as much as we love the Giants and would like to say yes, they're still going to get there. It's just not happening. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's
unless the Eagles and the Cowgirls both lose about 4 games in a row.
Yeah, that's the thing. You need to count on other things to happen, and for them to win the division is extremely unlikely because the Cowgirls and Eagles are pretty much almost have as many wins now as the Giants would have if they won every single game for the rest of the year. So it's just too tough to think realistically. I'd have to say no. It's probably a 1 in a 100,000 chance of them making the playoffs. But I do attribute that to injuries. I do think that once Jennings went down, that the Giants are a whole different team.
Mm-hmm.
Williams, he couldn't carry the load. The running game couldn't get going. And when the running game's not going, all the pressure is on Eli. And even though Eli's been playing good, it's not enough. I mean, the running game does affect play action passing. If your running game isn't working, the play action isn't going to be as effective. It just you really need that running game. And Jennings, once he went down, the Giants were a whole different team. So
we'll see. He'll be back this Sunday, and we'll see if it gives the Giants a little bit of a boost.
Well, hopefully he'll be back this Sunday, but
but we'll see how that goes. Now I want to go to another fan mail question. I know you mentioned we were going to be talking about LeBron when we got to football as well, which we usually don't do. But this week, LeBron actually told the reporter that he does not want his kids to play football, and so I wanted to kind of talk about that because one, Statman, I know you don't have kids right now, but will you allow your kids to play football when you do have kids? Me personally, and I know you know Statman, I know some of the guys at home know I film Pee Wee football, so I'm always around. I've been doing it for 3 years now. I'm always around the kids playing football. Um, they really genuinely enjoy the game of football, and the kids that I've seen, they pick up on the game fast. So it's not something where everyone is just getting hurt all the time. And I know that's where a lot of LeBron's worries would come from, just because of the injuries in football. But I feel like if they're trained at that young age and trained properly, it lessens the chance of injury. I mean, listen, football is just a popular sport, man. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, they could go and decide when they're older to take up boxing, and that's a little bit more of a, obviously, with head injuries than football. So the long-term effects of that. So you could try to control your kids at a young age, but like you said, the kids enjoy it, and it's a positive thing.
You've
it's
been
something,
there. You've seen the kids out there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with it. Yes, I understand. All right, the risk of injury, but I mean, listen, man, you could walk out your house tomorrow, God forbid, and trip and fall, and
or another sport, you could get you see the type of injuries that the Paul George injury.
George.
You could have a really gruesome injury with any sport. You could run into the wall in baseball as an outfielder and get a concussion. You could be run into the catcher to try to get that run, and it's just you could get hurt with any sport, and you could get hurt with no sport, like you said, falling down the stairs, or you can't really be too overprotective, because I mean, football is fun, and it's a positive thing, because if they're not playing football, what are they doing? They're sitting home playing video games. They're getting that exercise.
Exactly.
It's healthy for them.
Because that's a workout. Because they still listen, and these kids, they have practices during the week. They have their little training camps at the beginning of the season, and they work. So, at least you have a situation where you have active kids doing something that's positive. They could be out doing the wrong thing, but they want to be involved in the game of football. A lot of them watch football. They have their favorite teams, and they go out there and they compete at a high level. And, which is something that we need to continue to instill in our kids. And all of this, everybody, when everybody gets a trophy just for playing. Nah, listen.
Yeah,
we go out there, they want to be the best at what they're doing. I'm all for that. I'm all for going out and being the best at what you're doing. So I'm definitely for it. And if LeBron doesn't want his kids to play, that's cool. I'm okay with that as well. That's your choice. Me personally, though, I would say let them play. And we did bring a little clip. I want to show you guys some of what these little kids can actually do out there.
Because we recruit young here on Real Fans Real Talk, because
this
kid is really a really good Pee Wee football player, and he just looks like he's on a whole nother level than the other kids there. He's gonna be in the NFL. Myself and Trip Young will be having box seats when he makes it to the NFL.
Exactly.
We're not serious about that, but he's a really good kid, and both on the field and in general. And shout out to Nick, one of the people that Trip Young films for, and we're gonna play that clip right now for you guys, so you can see what we're talking about. Faster than everybody else.
Yeah. Well, he is.
I mean, he's pretty fast for that age. Offense and defense back when, just like in high school playing Iron Man. Coaches get into it too. I mean, you see these coaches, they think they're, kind of coaching the Giants or something like.
They get to actually be on the field with the kids. One coach on offense, one coach on defense. You actually get to be on the field with the kids, so they get really hyped up. They get into it. I mean, you see what's going on out there, man. And these kids, look how these kids just pop right back up. These are warriors here. We talking about, man.
All that energy. I wish I still had that energy. Play offense and defense, pop right back up, ready for the next play. They're not even winded.
Yep. You gotta. I mean, listen, man. You gotta love that, man. Look at the exercise these kids. Look at the wheels on this guy, man.
It's definitely, they could be doing this, or they could be playing Madden at home, wishing that they were playing football. Wishing that they're going to be one of those guys out there.
Look at young Peyton right there. Come on, man. You gotta love that, man. What's going on with this? Come on, you see the catch? I mean, these guys are all over the place.
Playoff game too. This has playoff implications. This game
exactly.
right here.
This is win or go home. Well, look at the juke move. Oh my goodness. Get off me right there. It's too much. It's too much for you to handle. Oh my goodness, man. You gotta love this, man. This is football at its best right here in the purest form.
For the love of the game, no collective bargaining agreements, no contract negotiations, just going out there, playing for the love of the sport, playing to win, being competitive, getting that exercise in. But LeBron James, of course, even though he played football, he doesn't want his kids to play football. He never makes any sense to me. He's a great player and all, but come on now. Like, what do you... I mean, if his kid really wants to play...
I want you to watch this right here. Look at this. I mean, these kids ain't even touching.
Yeah, little Barry Sanders out there.
Look what he's doing right now. Come on, man.
Look at the block over there. He's staying with the play.
I mean, come on. Look. Oh my goodness. This is just.
He already scored. That's a late hit.
Yeah, this just does. This doesn't even make sense. What's going on right now, man? Oh my goodness. Look. I mean, come on, man. Little Michael Vick out there. I mean, he's playing quarterback, running back. Oh my goodness.
Boom, powered. Oh, almost got it in there, but.
I mean, listen, but they take a licking and keep on ticking, man. Look at this. Where you going? You got to stop this, man. You got to stop this little guy. That's his field right there. You got to love that, man. Shout out to my man, Nick Parisi. That's the Glen Cove Cardinals right there at their best playoff football, man. So, LeBron, I understand the injuries, all the concussions that's going on. But, man, I'm out there with these kids, and they really love this game, and they enjoy playing it. So, I'm all for it. I wouldn't mind if my kids wanted to play football. They can.
Our kids are playing football together, Trip.
Exactly.
You already know.
So, we got to get a championship ring because, we bringing home, the plaques. They got to bring home the trophies. Something we got to keep
the bar high.
Exactly.
And with the kid Nick, his father, he pays for the training camp. He supports him. He knows how much Nick loves the sport, and he's out there supporting him. And and he's putting in the work at a very young age. He's training really hard, and he's a good kid. So all the best. Maybe we'll see him in the NFL someday.
We're going to have to bring him out. We're going to have to bring him onto the set, one of these days and get some points.
And then your footage is going to be worth a lot more money, too.
Exactly. Hey, listen, and that's what it is. They call me up. They can get it, for the right price. A couple million,
All right. Already back to money, but back to the big boy football. We do have Thursday night football going on. I'm going with the Dolphins against the Bills. What's your take?
I'm going with the Dolphins, too, just because, they've been playing great football as of late. I'm still upset that no Sean Moreno went down because I'm just, selfish when it comes to fantasy football. I like my players to do well. But I did pick up Ryan Tannehill in one of my leagues, so hopefully he does well tonight. It's Bills Dolphins. Does anybody really think about this game and care about this?
If you're a Bills or a Dolphins fan,
I guess if you're a Bills or a Dolphins fan,
the Jets don't really care about it because they're pretty much out of the picture. But it is a division game for their division.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're pretty much their hopes are all done. We talked about it on Tuesday, but for our Brooklyn fans, I was saying from the beginning, Michael Vick should be the guy starting from week 1 of the season. They didn't, obviously Rex Ryan is very stubborn with Geno Smith, and now they're in a position where the games pretty much don't mean anything, but Michael Vick is out there winning. He was asked the question, would they have a better record if he was the starting quarterback from the beginning? And, of course, being a confident person, he said yes. And, I'm not mad at him for that because you got to go, what are you going to say? No, Geno Smith is just as good as me?
Yeah.
Or, he did,
Who would say that? Who would say, no, I don't think we would have won.
Not
Nigga,
me? No, I'm not good enough for that. We would have probably had a worse
I
record.
shouldn't
Like,
even be
who
in the
says
league
that?
still. Yeah, I shouldn't even be in the league at this point. I'm old, washed up. Nah, man, get
You
out
can
of here. That
expect
kid
him
Gino is great.
How are you going to be mad at him for saying that? It just doesn't make sense. He did throw out Percy Harvin wasn't on the team in the beginning, so
He was humble with it, you know.
Yeah.
But you can't be like, oh nah, we would have lost.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna say that.
you know what question you're asking him. You know what he's going
Yeah.
to say. You can't get mad at him for saying it, because if he went the other route and said, no, Geno Smith is just as good as me, and we
Yeah.
just had bad breaks, it's just
Yeah, but that's where a lot of reporters, they ask you questions where they know there's only
Like the
one
whole
kind of answer that you're really gonna
like the
get.
whole Eli Manning question a couple of years ago after the 25 interception season. Are you
Yeah.
still do you consider yourself an elite quarterback? He said, yes, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
I consider myself an elite sports talk broadcaster, but, I'm over here. I'm not on prime time in ESPN or anything, but, I still think I'm one of the best, and you got to think that way.
Yeah.
Why would you think otherwise? And, of course, Eli Manning gets bashed for it, and then he adds another Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP that year to shut everybody up, which I was very happy about. But since we're speaking about quarterbacks, two elite quarterbacks this season going head-to-head, who will have more touchdowns on Sunday night's game, Tom Brady or Andrew Luck?
You know I gotta go with my man Tom Too Cool, man. You know I cannot bet against Tom Too Cool in these situations, man. It just, the boy is beasting right now.
They're both
Tom
beasting.
Brady, yeah, but I mean they're beasting, and the team is actually dominating everybody in the AFC right now. The Colts have been a little streaky, but again, I think it's kind of the same thing what we discussed a couple of weeks ago when he went up against Peyton. I think that Luck will throw for more yards, but Tom Brady will finish the game with more passing touchdowns than Andrew Luck will.
Yeah, I think if Gronkowski was injured, it'd be a whole different
yeah.
animal. I would see
That whole
Gronk getting
team
2
changes.
touchdowns by himself.
Yeah,
So
that whole dynamic changes if Gronkowski is not in the game. And I actually have an interesting stat for you, stat man. And I know you're gonna like this one, even though it's kind of a little bit of sweet. But Bill Belichick, as the coach of the New England Patriots, has a winning record against every NFL team except for one.
the New York Giants.
You are correct, sir.
I
And
mean,
that's
that
everybody. I know that would make you. I know that would kind of make up for the whole Knicks thing a little bit. So I was saving that stat specifically for this point in the show, kind of get your hopes and spirits back up.
I do appreciate that, and I'm probably going to go with Tom Brady as well to get back to the question at hand. I think that, yeah, it's the thing about Luck is he doesn't go to, like, he doesn't have a go-to guy like Gronkowski. I mean, he has talented receivers, but
He had Reggie
doesn't.
Wayne, but Reggie Wayne was hurt.
Yeah,
And, I mean,
T.Y. Hilton, but
Reggie Wayne is back, but
at the
still
same time,
getting back into it.
he does like Eli Manning does, and he spreads the ball to everybody. Like,
Yeah.
he gets the entire core of receivers, the tight end involved. Eli Manning gets both tight ends involved when there's a 2 tight end formation.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, he goes to everybody. With Eli, I wish you would give up on certain guys sometimes when they're not having, they'll have 3 drops in a game, 3 drops in a row, and he'll throw it to them a 4th time, which is good to try to boost the confidence up. But sometimes, you just got to stay away from that guy because his hands, are laced with butter or something like that. But another question, though, getting into college football, we have Joe from Jasper, Alabama, wrote in over under 60% chance Alabama makes it to the 4-team NCAA playoffs.
You know I'm rolling with the Tide
Roll
all
Tide?
the way. I think that they will win out. We kind of spoke about this.
I think the
2 weeks
LSU was
ago.
a big test for
Yeah,
them. That was one of their more
because
difficult.
it was on the road. I know they have Mississippi State this Saturday, but they are at home in Tuscaloosa, and I just don't think that Mississippi State can beat them in Alabama. If it was on a neutral ground, I would give them a better chance, or if it was in Mississippi State. But going into Alabama to see those guys, Nick Saban is one of the greatest football minds that I've seen in a while, and the team is playing very well right now. Like I said, they came off of a huge win against LSU, another powerhouse in the SEC, and now it's they're at home against Mississippi State. I think this is going to be the game that locks Alabama into a playoff spot.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think LSU was the toughest challenge for them. They went through it. Mississippi State's a big one as well, but like you said, they're home for this one. It's going to be a tough one, but I think they're going to win through. And it's good for the sport to see Alabama in there because they were such a dominant force the past few years. To not have them in the playoffs would just be a bad. Yeah, exactly. So Roll Tide, definitely. I just want to remind everyone you're watching Real Fans Real Talk live. We air live every Thursday, 8 p.m. on the Brooklyn Public Network. And for those of you watching on YouTube, we also stream live. Just go to our website, realfansrealtalk.com. We also go live every Tuesday on BronxNet Television, which is the local TV station in the Bronx. You can find out more information on that on realfansrealtalk.com every Tuesday, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you like us on Facebook for reminders of when we go on the air, facebook.com/realfansrealtalk, Twitter @realfantalk, and there's also the Facebook group page if you would like to get involved in the daily sports debate. Sometimes they heat up a little bit. Just search Real Fans Real Talk on Facebook and request to be a member of the exclusive Real Fans Real Talk group page on Facebook. This segment we call This Day in Sports History. We're not getting into shot for shot today. Face Facts will be joining us again down the road.
I'm still the champ when Face Facts gets back.
The champ by default, and the champ in the Bronx too. Congratulations!
I'm on a little bit of a streak.
I can tell you're a little. Your head is in the clouds a little bit.
I mean, listen, I feel good, man. You know, I've been winning. You know, lately I've been blessed.
I'm not hating on you. Actually, I am, but
it's all good. Stepman, you can always try again. We'll be back. We're not going anywhere. As my main man DJ Ralph McDaniel said about Real Fans Real Talk. He is an extended family member, but we're going to be here. So you'll have a chance to come for the crown. But right now, I'm going to hold it down in both boroughs, Brooklyn and in the Bronx.
All right. And this day in sports history, in 1900, the Baltimore Orioles enter baseball's American League. And at that time, they eventually transferred over to what we know now as the New York Yankees. So for those of you that did not know, the New York Yankees started in Baltimore as the Orioles first.
Yes, they did. And we're going to go to 1964. Bob Pettit, St. Louis Hawks, becomes the first NBA player to score 20,000 points. We got a whole lot of those right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It used to be a lot more of an elite thing back then. But in this day in sports history, in 1968, Bob Gibson edges Pete Rose to win the National League MVP.
Oh, man, that was a good one. And in 1982, and this is actually, a crazy one for us, a boxing match held in Las Vegas, Nevada ends when Ray Boom Boom Mancini defeats Dooku Kim. Kim's death on November 17th led to significant changes in the sport. The reason why this hits home with us is because we did have Ray Boom Boom Mancini on the show about a year ago, and we touched on that and touched on how that fight changed the sport of boxing, bringing down the round length from 15 to 12 rounds. A huge fight in boxing history. And shout out to Ray Boom Boom Mancini for coming on to Real Fans Real Talk and showing us that love.
He's got a wine vineyard and stuff. He's doing his thing on the side. He's doing the right thing with his money. He's got a lot of things going on out there. He's got his book out there.
Yep.
He had the life story, based on him in theaters last year as well.
Yo, my man is out there winning, man. you got to love it. And he definitely took care of himself after the sport of boxing. So he's doing pretty good for himself. Shout out to Ray Mancini, man.
All right, back to this day in sports history. Some more boxing. In 1992, Riddick Bowe beats Evander Holyfield in 12 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. That's
we connected to everybody in this day in sports history. You got Riddick Bowe, Big Daddy, right there on the set, man. Autographed that glove for us, just personally for the Real Fans Real Talk family. because that's how we do, man. We got to rapport with a lot of the big wigs, man.
And that's, that fight at the time, Evander Holyfield still had 100% of both ears.
At that Now that is true. That's a stat that we need to be putting out there, man. And happy birthday to our main man, Meta World War, Meta World Peace, or Ron Artest, or whatever one you like to call him. Happy birthday.
The panda's best friend.
The panda's best friend. What is it? Did he change it again?
No,
this
he
week?
didn't change the name, but he did come out with, he plays in China now, and he has the thing where he's the panda's best friend or something like that. I guess the Asian culture or something. He decided to go with the panda, and his sneakers actually have a stuffed animal panda on them, and to endorse the sneaker, he actually wore them in the game. He's wearing sneakers with stuffed pandas sticking out of them.
I just think back to the James Harden elbow, man. That's all I can think about right now is the James
At
Harden
this
elbow.
point, are you even surprised with Meta World Peace?
I don't get surprised with Meta anymore. I've learned that it's just some things he's gonna. I ranked that up there with Stephon Marbury eating Vaseline online. I mean, these guys are just gonna do what they're gonna do. Some people have more stressful lives than others, man, and they just turn to certain things. I'm not judging that, man. But shout out to Meta World War. Happy birthday. Enjoy it. Hope you're out there in China balling out of control, man. Get a championship out there.
Yeah, definitely. All the best to him. There's definitely no hate for him. I love Meta World Peace. He is the man. He's very interesting to talk about as well. Getting into baseball, Clayton Kershaw gets his third Cy Young Award, also wins the MVP. The Cy Young Award, not too much of a surprise. He was dominant all season.
MVP though, that is big
for a pitcher
right
to win that. That's we don't see that as often, and he's
half a
definitely
century
deserving.
almost since the last pitcher won the NL MVP. Yo, man, they out here winning, man. He's balling. Why can't we get him on the Yankees? Is my question, man. That's what I want to know. Why can't we get him on the Yankees? But he's one of the best in the game right now.
He's definitely getting paid right for it too.
Somebody who's about to get paid is Giancarlo Stanton. He's looking at a long-term contract with the Marlins in the neighborhood of $300 million. I can't be mad at that. Get your money while you can, because these teams will use you, abuse you, and then drop you when they don't need you. So get all the money that you can. We here,
and if you're in basketball, they'll send you to China.
Exactly, and then you can get some more money and not have to, pay the same taxes like over here. So that's even better for you. You can save up, you can do some things with that. Shout out also to Mike Trout, who won the other MVP award for the AL. He was the youngest player to be unanimously voted in as the MVP and the fifth youngest player overall at 23 years old. Another guy the Yankees should have. I mean.
And one more, I saw a recent debate about this. Who would you rather have, Bumgarner or Kershaw? You saw Bumgarner was lights out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady type of deal there, where, regular season versus postseason type of thing. But
I'll take whoever's getting me the championships right now. You get more money when you get championships.
Yeah, well, most people actually said, they asked all the managers out there. Two people that went with Bumgarner. The rest went with Kershaw, because Kershaw is just so dominant in the regular season. But I mean, I kind of want to agree with you though with Bumgarner, because his pitching in the playoffs and the type of pitches that he throws are just ridiculous.
You saw what he did, man. I mean, they blew through everybody. And I don't want to feel like we're taking away from what Clayton Kershaw did, because winning the MVP award as a pitcher is no easy task, because they a lot of times don't want to give it to pitchers because they have the Cy Young award. So the fact that he did that is an amazing feat. But at the end of the day, it's them rings, man. You gotta bring in some championship rings. You gotta play well when the pressure's really out there. It doesn't stop after there was 182 games in the regular season. That's a lot, but it doesn't stop there. You gotta go into the postseason, 162, and win as well. And that's something that Bumgarner has mastered. And I will take that over a Cy Young award, over an MVP any day of the week. That's what continues to bring in the money for the team, is them championships.
Definitely agree with that. Bumgarner getting paid about half of what Kershaw is getting paid.
And that's a steal.
He signed for 5 years. Yeah, that is definitely a steal. So they definitely got a good deal with him. But speaking of money, was the 4-year, $70 million deal the Tigers gave Victor Martinez a good or bad move?
I'm gonna say good move, man. I mean, first of all, see, my thing is it's baseball. There's no salary cap in baseball, so you might think it's a lot of money, at 70 million, but there's no salary cap. If that was, if it was basketball maybe, and you gave it to Tyson Chandler right now, I might be like, okay, because there's a salary cap. But in baseball, where there's no cap, I mean,
But with that logic, should the Yankees have signed Cano? Because we both kind of agree that he was being a little bit greedy, in my opinion. But
my thing with that situation is, see, I'm from the George Steinbrenner regime.
George Steinbrenner Senior.
Excuse me, George Steinbrenner Senior. If you want it, you go out there, you spend your money on it, you get it. If you have the money, you go get it. I'm all for that.
If Cano was still on the team, did the Yankees make the playoffs last year?
I think they have a better chance because they have a consistent bat in the lineup, even though sometimes he can be lazy.
And the fielding on
he's
second
still,
base.
Yeah, in the fielding, but he's still one of the best players in the league. But I don't know because he was there, the season before. They just had a lot of injuries, the past couple of years. Yankees are an old team, and that's something that they really need to address. A lot of these guys are older, and it's time for them to start getting young. I mean, we used to have a great farm system that produced some of the greatest baseball players to play the game, Hall of Famers. I mean, if you look at that class of Derek Jeter, Jorge Posada, Andy Pettitte, Mariano Rivera, I mean, these guys, they came, Bernie Williams, another one, they came from the Yankees farm system and just all developed into great players. They brought a lot of championships to New York. Right now we're old. All of these guys, Sabathia, he's older, and that's my guy, but he's old. Teixeira, he's old. A-Rod is old. I mean, Jeter was still Jeter, but at the end of the day, he's older. Mariano was old. Like, everybody is old. They need to get younger. They bring in guys, they bring in Beltran. He's old still right now. I mean, he's no, spring chicken, as they say. The team is old. They have to get younger. They have to get younger fast. Because all these young teams are the ones that's winning. I mean, look what the Red Sox wanted a year ago. They traded all of that old age and got younger, got them back to the promised land. You gotta get younger.
That's definitely true. But at least the Yankees get an AARP discount for when they're.
Now that is true, and that's always something that's definitely needed in this day and age.
All right. Well, not with all the money they're making.
Well, no salary cap. So I wish there was no salary cap in basketball. Then the Knicks might actually have a chance to win. And I'm going to ask you this next question, Statman. Over or under 2 weeks before the Knicks hit 500 on the season?
I'm going to have to say over. Look at their record now. They're not, it's just mathematically, I don't even think that's possible, even if they win every game.
Because when I have to hear you actually say it.
Yeah, I know you threw that out there because you wanted to.
No, I just wanted to know because when you say it, it just makes it feel like in my mind I want to
actually have common sense.
Yeah,
you're being a biased Knicks fan.
Yeah, you're being real right now and understanding that. I mean.
Wait, do they play the Cavaliers? If they play the Cavaliers every game, then they win every one.
The Cavaliers have actually got it together now. They're starting to gel and mesh better. I think everybody's coming into their roles and they're starting to win. But I mean, the Knicks. I mean, you guys was it 6 in a row now, 6 losses. So you think 2 weeks they got it. It may be even longer than 2 weeks, maybe a month before they even get close. Just because when you're losing to teams like the Orlando Magic, I know that's got to sting.
Yeah, it definitely does. As we mentioned at the beginning of the program, it stung pretty badly. But thanks for bringing it up again.
I'm sorry, no, because it was in the rundown. I just wanted to make sure we got to every topic. But why don't we go back to some contract issues that we're having out in Dallas? Des Bryant, he is looking for the money, as Cuba Gooding Jr. would say, "Show me the money." Des is looking for the Cowgirls to show him the money now, and he's most certainly worth it. Will Des Bryant be a member of the Cowgirls next season?
I'm gonna say yes. I think Jerry Jones is gonna pay him that money because he is a franchise receiver. I mean, he's one of the he's not Calvin Johnson, but he's up there at least in the
there.
top 10,
Yeah,
like
and
top 5.
maybe even top 5. I mean, listen, Calvin Johnson can't even stay healthy right now.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint alone, I do think that they will give him the money. But I think it bothers me a little that they haven't worked this thing out, seeing that he is one of the best receivers in football. And I mean, I know this year the team's success has been on the back of DeMarco Murray and what he's doing, but Des Bryant is still one of the best receivers in the league. And a lot of the reason why DeMarco Murray can do what he does is because the Cowgirls do have some really good receivers out there. Des Bryant being one of them. I don't think they want to let him go, but again, I didn't think that Deshaun Jackson wouldn't be on the Eagles this season. There's a lot of guys who I don't think is going to be on the move, and they wind up being gone next season. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna go wherever the money is. I think that they'll work it out with him. I guess they want to see if the Cowboys make the playoffs. If they don't, maybe they don't sign him and try to spend the money with several less expensive pieces on the team. But who knows what goes on in Jerry Jones's mind? He still misses Jimmy Johnson and probably shouldn't have been a little bit.
I mean, it's all good. It's the Cowgirls, man.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
There's no question. Hey, as a Giants fan, I'm definitely happy about it. But
maybe he'll come to New York and then we'll get back to
with the quarterback that actually knows how to win championships. But
exactly.
The Giants, they change quarterback wide receivers regularly. Like Eli Manning, he just got to deal with a new crew, new faces out there, and
new offense.
Yeah, pretty much new
everything.
Yeah, new tight ends every year. He builds up some chemistry with guys, and then they're pretty much gone. But Eli Manning can still play well no matter who the receivers are, apparently. But just want to remind you guys, you're watching Real Fans Real Talk live here on Brooklyn Public Network. We go live every Thursday, 8 p.m. We do occasionally air some special episodes. We have upcoming episodes with UFC fighter from the Ultimate Fighter reality show, Pat Walsh. I conducted an interview with him. Also, Terrible Tim Witherspoon, who used to spar with Muhammad Ali, and a lot of interesting stuff with that. And then, of course, the current champ, Brooklyn's own Danny Jacobs. Trip Young went in depth with him. A lot of great stuff coming on some of our pre-recorded stuff when we don't go live. So make sure you tune in every Thursday at 8, whether we're live or whether we have special programming with special guests for you guys.
Yeah, we haven't even really got into boxing yet, and we spoke about this fight a couple of weeks ago. We all thought that B-Hop was going to just dominate Kovalev. It was actually the opposite. So we were all wrong up here. Now, I know we spoke about this, but really, it's got to be time for Bernard to retire right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see him go out with a victory, and I think he wants to fight once he passes age 50. So I think that's going to happen. But we're gonna leave off on that note. To remind you guys, Facebook.com/Real Fans Real Talk, Twitter @RealFanTalk. Real quick, you have a final thought that you want to add before we wrap things up, Trip?
Yo, man, I'm just gonna say Tom Too Cool is going back to the Super Bowl this year. I'm gonna have to give it to him, man.
All right, Knicks, get it together. You shouldn't be losing to the Magic. You guys are an embarrassment. Get your heads right.
When Statman talks about you guys like that, you know it's bad.
Yeah. Thank you for the Cleveland victory, though, beating LeBron James. But with that being said, once again, RealFansRealTalk.com is the website. All the information's on there with all our air times every Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you all for joining us. For Trip Young, I'm Mark the Statman Skevich. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
The Stats Man man. If you're not tuned in, I recommend the CAT scan. And if your brain checks out, then you deserve a backhand. Sports, gossip, all the hot topics. Real fans, realtalk.com got it. They got the hottest bloggers.
Is Jeremy Lin hurt?
Well, log onto the site and you can hear it from them first. I'm talking about the latest. I'm talking about the greatest. Go check out the archives. Even tell a neighbor. Tell them Bobby sent ya. From spring to winter, tuning in should be the only thing on your agenda. Certified cosign, you know what I'm about, son.